First contact. The stellar Voyager hung motionless against the backdrop of unfamiliar stars, its fusion drives cooling after the longest sustained flight in human history. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the strange phenomenon that had brought them to a halt. A perfect hexagonal structure floating in space, approximately 3 kilometers across, its surface adorned with patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Dr. Patel, anything new from the latest scans? Sarah's voice carried the weight of command, tempered by 20 years of deep space exploration. The ship's chief scientist adjusted his holographic display, his weathered hands moving through the data with practiced precision. It's unlike anything we've ever encountered, Captain. The structure appears to be composed of elements we can't even identify. And there's something else. He hesitated, double-checking his readings. It's generating power, massive amounts of it. But we can't detect any radiation or heat signature. Sarah nodded, her mind racing through protocols that had never anticipated this scenario. Humanity had spent centuries searching for signs of intelligent life, and now, 12 light years from Earth, they'd found something that defied explanation. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station, "we're detecting movement on the surface of the structure." The entire bridge crew watched as sections of the hexagon began to shift and realign, creating new patterns that pulsed with an inner light. The ship's AI, spoke up with its characteristic calm. "Unknown energy signature detected. Recommend raising shields as a precaution." Before Sarah could give the order, a beam of pure white light shot from the center of the structure, enveloping the stellar Voyager in a gentle glow. The crew tensed, but there was no sense of danger, only a peculiar sensation of being observed. "Captain," Dr. Patel's voice was barely a whisper, "our quantum computers are receiving data. Massive amounts of it. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The structure is communicating with us." Sarah moved to his station, watching as streams of information filled multiple screens. "Can you make sense of it?" "It's self-organizing," he replied, amazement evident in his voice. "The data is actually restructuring itself to match our computer architecture. It's learning our systems in real time." The white light pulsed once, and suddenly every screen on the bridge displayed the same message in clear English. "Greetings, children of Earth. We have waited long for your arrival." The message continued to scroll. "You have achieved what few species manage, reaching the stars while maintaining your unity and curiosity. We are the archive, a repository of knowledge left by the first ones. Your species has been observed since you first looked to the stars with wonder. Now you have proven yourselves ready for the next step." Sarah felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Whatever happened next would change humanity forever. Begin recording everything. "Dr. Patel, analyze every byte of data they're sending. Lieutenant Rodriguez, maintain our position, but be ready for emergency maneuvers if needed." The archive's surface continued its hypnotic dance of patterns as more data streamed into their computers. Star charts of unimaginable detail, scientific knowledge that made their most advanced theories look primitive, and something else. Warnings. "Captain," Dr. Patel's voice had taken on an urgent tone. "You need to see this. They're showing us something coming toward our galaxy. Something that's wiped out civilizations before." The holographic display filled with images of destruction on a cosmic scale, entire solar systems reduced to debris fields, civilizations erased from existence. But mixed with these apocalyptic visions was something else. Instructions, technologies, and strategies that had helped other species survive. "They're not just warning us," Sarah realized. "They're arming us." The archive's message continued. "Your species possesses qualities we have rarely seen combined. Adaptability, determination, and most importantly, the ability to unite in the face of adversity. These traits will be crucial in the times ahead. We offer you knowledge and technology, but how you use them will determine not only your fate, but potentially that of all sentient life in this sector of space." As the crew worked to process and store the incoming data, Sarah felt a mix of pride and trepidation. Humanity had just been handed the keys to technologies beyond their wildest dreams, but with them came the knowledge of a threat that could end everything they'd built. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, "we're detecting multiple quantum signatures similar to the archive's energy pattern. They're appearing throughout human space, near every major colony and Earth itself." Sarah understood the implications immediately. The archive wasn't just making contact with their expedition, it was reaching out to all of humanity simultaneously. There would be no keeping this secret, no time for politics or power plays. Whatever was coming, they would face it as a united species. "Send a priority message to Earth Command," she ordered. Tell them everything has changed, and that we're going to need every brilliant mind and brave soul humanity can muster. We've just been drafted into a war for survival, but we've also been given the tools to win it." As the message was sent, the archive pulsed one final time, and new data began streaming in. Blueprints for technologies that could reshape their understanding of physics itself. The first chapter of humanity's greatest challenge had begun, and Captain Chen knew that nothing would ever be the same. The warning. 6 months after humanity's encounter with the archive, Earth had transformed. The pristine grounds of the United Earth Defense Complex in Geneva hummed with activity as scientists and military personnel from every nation worked to implement the archive's knowledge. Dr. Maya Patel, now Earth's leading expert on archive technology, stood before the gathered World Council, her holographic presentation showing the fruits of their labor. "The quantum shield technology alone has revolutionized our defensive capabilities," she explained, gesturing to the shimming barrier visible in the sky above. "Earth's first planetary defense shield. But what truly sets the archive's gift apart is how it builds upon human innovation rather than replacing it." In orbit, the first of humanity's new hybrid ships took shape. They combined archive technology with human ingenuity. Vessels that could match any in the galaxy while incorporating uniquely human approaches to problem solving. Captain Chen, watching from her seat in the council chamber, couldn't help but feel pride in how quickly humanity had adapted. However, Maya's voice grew grave. "The threat we face is unlike anything we could have imagined." The hologram shifted to show massive geometric shapes moving between the stars, the harvesters, as they'd come to be known. They don't seek conquest or resources. They consume civilization itself. Knowledge, culture, technology, leaving nothing behind but empty husks of worlds. The room fell silent as Maya played recovered footage from previous civilizations' encounters with the harvesters. Entire fleets of advanced ships were systematically dismantled, their crews and technology absorbed into the geometric horrors that had destroyed them. "But we have advantages others didn't," Sarah Chen spoke up, rising from her seat. "The archive chose us for a reason. While other species relied purely on technological superiority, humanity has always excelled at asymmetrical warfare. We think differently." She approached the holographic display, bringing up tactical simulations developed over the past months. The harvesters expect logical, predictable responses based on their encounters with other advanced civilizations. But humanity's greatest military achievements have often come from doing the unexpected. Admiral James Okonjo, head of the newly formed Earth Defense Fleet, nodded in agreement. "We've been running simulations combining archive technology with human tactical doctrine. The results are promising. While the harvesters adapt quickly to conventional strategies, they struggle against approaches they consider irrational." "There's more," Maya added, pulling up new data streams. "We've discovered something in the archive's data that previous civilizations missed. The harvesters operate like a quantum neural network, all connected, sharing information instantly across vast distances. It's their greatest strength, but potentially their greatest weakness." The hologram showed a new weapon design, one that combined archive quantum technology with human computer virus architecture. "We're calling it the Quantum Cascade. Instead of trying to destroy their ships directly, We can potentially turn their network against them. Sarah watched the assembled leaders as they processed this information. The next few months would determine humanity's fate, but she saw no fear in their eyes, only determination. Humanity had always thrived when faced with seemingly impossible odds. The harvesters will reach our galaxy in 8 months, Admiral Locanjo stated. We've already begun evacuating our outer colonies, strengthening our core worlds. But we're not just preparing to survive. We're preparing to win. Maya brought up one final display. A map of quantum communication buoys being placed throughout human space. The Archive didn't just give us technology. They gave us a connection to other surviving civilizations. Many are watching us, waiting to see how we handle this threat. Our actions here could determine the fate of countless species. As the meeting concluded, Sarah found herself back at the observation window, watching Earth's new defense fleet conducting maneuvers. The ships represented everything humanity had achieved. Archive technology, seamlessly integrated with human innovation. Crews from every nation working as one. Captain Chen. Maya approached her, tablet in hand. The latest simulations show the quantum cascade has a 60% chance of success. Not great odds. Sarah smiled. When has humanity ever let mere probability stop us? Besides, the harvesters calculate everything based on logic and efficiency. They've never faced a species that embraces chaos theory as a tactical doctrine. The sun set over Geneva, casting the defense fleet in golden light. Humanity had spent its entire history fighting, surviving, and adapting. Now those hard-learned lessons would be put to the ultimate test. The harvesters were coming, expecting to find another civilization that would fall according to their calculated patterns. They were about to learn just how dangerous humanity could be when backed into a corner. The hidden strength. The first harvester ships emerged from quantum space exactly where the Archive had predicted, their crystalline structures reflecting starlight like faceted obsidian. The initial scout force consisted of 3 vessels, each roughly the size of Manhattan, their geometric shapes defying conventional physics as they moved through space. What they found waiting for them was not what their calculations had predicted. Instead of a panicked defense force or an overwhelming show of military might, they encountered nothing. The human outer colonies appeared abandoned, defense platforms dormant, mining operations silent. According to their vast database of civilizational responses, this indicated either a primitive species that had fled in terror or a trap. They detected no energy signatures suggesting the latter. Deep within the asteroid belt of humanity's home system, Captain Chen watched the sensor feeds from her new flagship, the UES Prometheus. The vessel represented humanity's greatest achievement, a perfect fusion of archive technology and human ingenuity, crewed by the finest officers Earth had to offer. They're proceeding exactly as predicted, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his enhanced tactical station. The scout force is moving system by system, cataloging and analyzing. Maya Patel, now serving as the ship's chief scientist and archive specialist, nodded in satisfaction. Their quantum network is active, transmitting data back to their main fleet. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. The plan was audacious, arguably insane by the standards of other spacefaring races, while the harvesters expected either fight or flight. Humanity had chosen a third option, becoming ghosts. Every colony, every station, every ship now utilized quantum camouflage technology that made them appear abandoned. But beneath that facade, they were anything but. Second wave detected, Rodriguez announced. 5 capital ships entering the Proxima Centauri system. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Right on schedule. Signal the fleet. Operation Chaos begins now. Throughout human space, vessels hidden in asteroid fields, beneath planetary rings, and inside gas giant storms powered up their systems. The harvesters had never encountered a species that would willingly appear weak, that would invite invasion rather than resist it. Their perfect quantum network was about to become their greatest vulnerability. Quantum cascade virus loaded, Maya reported. Ready on your mark. The harvester ships moved with mechanical precision, their sensors probing the seemingly abandoned human worlds. Their vast database contained no reference for this behavior, no logical explanation for a species to simply vanish rather than fight or flee. It was inefficient, irrational. It was human. Execute, Sarah commanded. Simultaneously across 3 star systems, human ships emerged from hiding. But instead of attacking the harvester vessels directly, they fired specialized quantum beacons, devices that appeared to the harvester's sensors as primitive distress signals. The kind of bait no self-respecting hunter could resist. The reaction was immediate. The harvester ships turned their full attention to these apparent signs of life, extending their quantum consciousness to analyze and absorb the data. They never suspected that these simple beacons contained humanity's most potent weapon, chaos itself. Maya's fingers flew across her console as she monitored the virus's progress. Quantum cascade initializing. Their network is attempting to process the data, and failing. The virus wasn't designed like conventional computer code. Instead, it contained mathematical paradoxes, quantum uncertainties, and logical impossibilities, concepts that the rigid, perfectly logical harvester network couldn't process. Like trying to divide by 0, it created cascading errors throughout their system. The effect was spectacular. The massive harvester ships began to move erratically, their perfect geometric forms distorting as their quantum network tried and failed to resolve the paradoxes flooding their system. They had encountered a species that turned unpredictability into a weapon. Main fleet is responding, Rodriguez reported. 30 more ships entering human space. Their network is connecting to the infected vessels. Sarah nodded grimly. Just as we hoped. They can't help themselves. Their need to maintain network cohesion is hardwired into their very nature. The virus spread through the harvester fleet like wildfire, carried by their own quantum network. Ships that had destroyed countless civilizations found themselves unable to maintain their complex structures, their crews of hybrid organic mechanical beings thrown into confusion as their perfect logic failed them. But humanity wasn't done yet. As the harvester fleet struggled to cope with the cascade of errors, the human fleet emerged in force. Their ships, smaller but infinitely more adaptable, struck with precision at the now vulnerable geometric vessels. Each human captain had been given broad tactical autonomy, allowing them to adapt and improvise in ways the harvesters couldn't predict. We're actually doing it, Maya whispered, watching as the mighty harvester ships fell one by one to the combined assault of human ingenuity and determination. Sarah knew better than to celebrate too early. This is just the advance force. The main fleet will have adapted to our virus by the time they arrive. But we've proven something vital today. They can be beaten. The battle continued across human space, a testament to humanity's greatest strengths. The ability to think irrationally when needed, to embrace chaos as a strategy, and to unite against impossible odds. The harvesters had expected to find easy prey. Instead, they found a species that turned their greatest strength into a fatal weakness. The first round had gone to humanity, but the real test was yet to come. Turning point. The main harvester fleet arrived 3 weeks after their advance force was decimated. They came prepared this time, their quantum network modified, their ships radiating with new countermeasures against human tactics. 500 vessels strong, each one larger than their scouts, they filled the space between stars with their crystalline geometries. But humanity had not been idle. They've adapted their network exactly as we predicted, Maya announced from her station aboard the Prometheus. The flagship now led a combined fleet of human and newly arrived allied vessels. Other species who had watched humanity's initial victory and decided to take a stand. Sarah Chen studied the tactical display, noting how the harvester ships moved differently now. They're maintaining quantum isolation protocols. Each ship is running semi-autonomous systems rather than relying on their central network. Our virus won't work the same way twice. Good thing we weren't planning to use it again. Admiral Okonjo's hologram flickered in the command center. Initiate Phase 2. Throughout human space, a new weapon stirred to life. While the harvesters had been adapting to prevent another quantum virus attack, humanity had been building something far more audacious. The abandoned colonies that had fooled the advance force were now revealed to be massive energy collectors, gathering power from their stars through vast fields of quantum collectors. Power accumulation at 90%, Rodriguez reported. All colonial arrays aligned and synchronized. The harvester fleet advanced with mechanical precision, their ships arranging themselves into perfect geometric formations designed to counter any conventional attack. They had analyzed every record of human military history, prepared countermeasures for every known human strategy. That was exactly what humanity had counted on. They're so focused on predicting our military responses, they've forgotten something fundamental about human nature. Sarah smiled. We're not just warriors. We're scientists, engineers, dreamers. Signal the colonies. Initiate the gravity web. The seemingly abandoned human colonies suddenly blazed with energy, each one activating massive gravity manipulation arrays. Technology reverse-engineered from both the archive's data and study of the harvester's own propulsion systems. But where other species used gravity manipulation for simple propulsion or defense, humanity had conceived something far grander. A web of intersecting gravitational fields sprang up between the colonies, creating a three-dimensional maze of warped space. The harvester fleet, caught in mid-advance, found their perfect formations pulled apart as space itself twisted around them. They're adapting, Maya warned, rerouting power to their own gravity drives to compensate. Exactly as planned, Sarah replied. Execute Phase 3. The Allied fleet, which had been holding position at the edge of the gravity web, sprang into action. But instead of engaging directly, they began activating their own gravity drives in a carefully choreographed sequence. The overlapping fields created gravitational resonance patterns, turning the entire sector into a vast, oscillating web of spatial distortions. The harvesters found themselves caught in what amounted to a three-dimensional game of human chess, where the board itself was constantly shifting. Their attempts to compensate for one gravitational shift left them vulnerable to others. Their perfect formations began to break apart. Multiple harvester vessels showing signs of structural stress, Rodriguez reported. Their geometric architecture can't handle the gravitational fluctuations. The massive crystalline ships began to crack, their perfect forms unable to maintain cohesion under the constantly changing gravitational stresses. But even as they broke apart, they adapted, their smaller fragments attempting to reform into new configurations. They're trying to subdivide into smaller units, Maya observed, reducing their mass to better handle the gravity fluctuations. Sarah nodded, which makes them perfect targets for Phase 4. Signal the Thor platforms. Hidden throughout the battlefield, automated weapons platforms, each named after humanity's ancient gods of thunder, powered up their main guns. Based on archive technology, but modified with human ingenuity, they fired concentrated beams of quantum-destabilized particles. The harvester ships, already stressed by the gravitational web and broken into smaller units, found their quantum-based technologies disrupted at the subatomic level. Ships that had endured the deaths of stars began to unravel, their very molecular structure coming apart. Harvester fleet showing 60% losses, Rodriguez announced. They're attempting to regroup at the edge of the gravity web. But humanity had one final card to play. As the remaining harvester ships retreated to what they calculated to be safe distance, they failed to notice that the Allied fleet had been herding them into a specific position. All ships, execute final maneuver, Sarah commanded. Show them why you never corner a human. The Allied fleet activated their quantum drives simultaneously, creating a massive distortion in space-time itself. The harvesters, their ships already damaged and their perfect calculations disrupted, found themselves pulled into what amounted to an artificial gravity well. The battle wasn't just a victory, it was a revolution in warfare. Humanity had proven that superior technology alone wasn't enough. Innovation, unpredictability, and the willingness to attempt the impossible had turned the tide. As the last harvester ships were either destroyed or forced to retreat, Sarah knew this wasn't the end. But humanity had shown the galaxy something important. The most dangerous species weren't always the most advanced, but those who never stopped adapting, never stopped dreaming, and never accepted impossible odds. Legacy of Stars. A year after the Battle of the Gravity Web, Captain Sarah Chen stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, her dress uniform adorned with the symbols of both Earth and the various alien species that had joined humanity's cause. The chamber, constructed in neutral space, represented something unprecedented, a true alliance of spacefaring civilizations, born from humanity's defiance of the impossible. The harvesters hadn't been destroyed entirely. Their main fleet had retreated to dark space, but everyone knew they would return someday. Yet their defeat had changed everything. Species that had hidden for millennia emerged from their sanctuary worlds. Ancient rivalries were set aside. The galaxy had witnessed something remarkable. A young species using creativity and determination to achieve what advanced civilizations had thought impossible. The Archive chose well. Maya whispered from her place beside Sarah. She now served as humanity's chief representative to the Council's scientific division, though I doubt even they predicted exactly how we'd handle things. Sarah smiled, remembering the Archive's initial message. They had seen humanity's potential, but even they couldn't have predicted the full scope of human ingenuity. The quantum virus, the gravity web, the Thor platforms, all were born from the fusion of Archive knowledge and human imagination. Admiral Okonjo approached the central podium, his voice carrying across the chamber. The defense network is operational. 20,000 worlds, working together, sharing technology and resources, but more importantly, sharing ideas. He gestured to the holographic display, showing the network of quantum communications buoys and defense stations stretching across the galaxy. We've created something unique, a defense system that adapts and evolves, just like humanity itself. The newly established Galactic Defense Force was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Ships of different species served together, each bringing their own strengths and perspectives. Human tactical innovations were combined with technologies that had been refined over millions of years. The result was a force that was more than the sum of its parts. But our greatest achievement isn't military, Sarah addressed the council. It's understanding that strength comes in many forms. The harvesters failed because they couldn't comprehend why a supposedly lesser species would choose to appear weak, why we would embrace chaos as a strategy, or why we would risk everything to protect not just ourselves, but others. The council chamber's display shifted to show Earth's newest project. Massive shipyards constructing vessels that combined technologies from a dozen species. But these weren't warships. They were exploration vessels, designed to push the boundaries of known space, to seek out other civilizations that might still be hiding from the harvesters. Humanity's gift to the galaxy isn't just tactical innovation, Maya explained. It's hope. We've shown that even the most terrifying enemy can be defeated if we dare to think differently, to challenge assumptions, and to stand together. The Archive's original warning had spoken of humanity's unique combination of traits: adaptability, determination, and unity in the face of adversity. But it had missed something crucial: humanity's ability to inspire others, to show that impossible odds were just challenges waiting to be overcome. The council session concluded with the ratification of the Galactic Charter, a document that bore striking similarities to humanity's own United Nations Charter. It established not just mutual defense, but principles of cooperation, scientific exchange, and cultural preservation. The galaxy was entering a new age, one shaped by the example of a species that refused to accept limitations. As Sarah prepared to return to her ship, she received one final message from the Archive. Its simple text appeared on her personal display. You have exceeded all parameters. The galaxy's future is brighter for your presence among the stars. She thought about how far humanity had come, From a single world looking up at the stars with wonder, to a species that had changed the course of galactic history. The harvesters would return someday, possibly with new adaptations and strategies. But they would find a galaxy united, led by a species that had turned unpredictability into an art form. Ready to head home? Maya asked, joining her at the observation window. Below them, Earth ships flew in formation with vessels from a dozen alien species, their crews training together for whatever challenges lay ahead. Home is a bigger place now, Sarah replied, watching as a group of alien children toured a human vessel, their eyes wide with wonder. We've given the galaxy something it never had before, not just hope, but a reminder that the impossible is just something that hasn't been done yet. The stars stretched out before them, infinite in their possibility. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had shown the galaxy that true strength lay not in perfect logic or overwhelming power, but in the courage to face the unknown, the wisdom to learn from others, and the determination to never stop reaching for the stars.